Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Truth here. So I'm going to be doing a recap on the video where I had gotten arrested and sent to prison for 13 and a half years, where I took somebody's life, and basically telling you guys there was some things that I left out of the story simply because I simply forgot about some things, but I definitely want to touch up on quite a bit of them. Also, I want to give a special shout out to those that have hit the subscribe button, also hit the like button, man. I can't thank you guys enough, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. It truly means the world to me, especially some of the feedback that I got from you guys, like real positive, and I didn't expect that, to be honest with you guys. I didn't know what to expect, to be real, but yeah, there was one guy that stood out to me. Multiple people actually stood out to me, but G-Lock, his comment said, "Listen, I just stumbled onto your page and I saw this story. I'm glad I did. When you did, I don't fault you for. I thought of your mom and I shed a tear when I imagined her in your mom's spot, and that happening to her. I couldn't imagine it. It hurt so much. You did what you could to protect her. I feel you did right. You protect your family, especially your mom, at all costs. I feel for you, my boy. I subscribed. You did right." And then there's a little bit more. But hey, man, thank you. I appreciate you for seeing it for what it was. And yeah, my mom, she's, to be completely honest with you guys, my mom's healthy. She's doing good. She got the job, and yeah, she's doing real well. At the time, it did impact her immensely. Like the whole thing impacted her. By far, it was hard on her. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was hard on her. She didn't know how to cope with it. First and foremost, her getting stabbed. She got stabbed 3 times. Once hit her in the lung. I think she got stabbed on her right side, or it might have been her left side. I can't remember. But she got a scar from her solar plex all the way down past her belly button. They had to cut her open and do surgery and repair her lung. But yeah, she didn't know how to deal with it, especially with me going to prison and losing me for 13 and a half years. And like, I did that 13 and a half years. I got out, and I was being not responsible. I ended up going to the feds after I did some state time. I ended up doing 3 years in the feds right after that. But I got out, and here I am now. I'm sharing with you guys my life story. But yeah, a huge shout out to G-Lock, man. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother, for real. Now, there was another person, let's see. Dark Side of the Moon. My mom was my life. Now she's gone. I'd give anything to have just another 5 minutes with. And yes, I would have done exactly the same, especially after a drink and all the emotions going on and being 19. Moms are there through good and bad. Family is everything, because when it's gone forever. And that's the reality of it. You know, we can be here 1 minute and the next minute we're gone. And one person, just one person, we don't realize how much one person can have an impact on all our lives. And one person can change everything. One person could be here in the next minute, and a lot of us lose focus of that. Like out here where I'm from, you know, when one person leaves, you know, everybody gets together. When a funeral happens, everybody gets together, you know, they mourn, and it's a realization like, wow, that person's gone, they're not going to be here anymore, you know. But I want to say, like, hey, thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. I'm sorry to hear about your mom. I do hope that you are being strong as an individual and know that your mom wants nothing but the best for you at the end of the day. I know I don't know you simply other than you sharing your thoughts with me, but you know, just be strong and think about what your mom would want for you. I know, like, if I would have lost my mom, I know my mom would want the best for me. If I would have lost my mom that night, she definitely would want the best for me. And she definitely didn't like my ex-girlfriend. And just to kind of give you guys a little insight, like, I am not with that girl at all. Like, that girl that I was involved with, like, she's far behind my past. I don't even talk to her. I don't want any association with her. I got me a new girl in my life, a core foundation. I ended up having a son with her, and my life has been impacted in a positive way. And I can't express to you how happy I am. Like, she's definitely given me what I've seeked for as far as a future. And huge shout out to my girlfriend, for real. But yeah, so what I wanted to go on a recap on what I was talking about, me going to prison and all that stuff, but mainly the story that I was telling you guys about was so when there was some parts that I did leave out. So when Brandy and Jessica, when Jessica had called her sister Brandy and had Brandy, Aubrey, and Aaron come over, after Diablo had threatened their lives, basically saying, look, you guys need to leave or else somebody's going to die tonight. And Brandy was like, you're going to sit there and let him talk to me like that? And, you know, I told Brandy, look, kick rocks, make like a ball and bounce, whatever. As we were going inside the house, Diablo told the group that everybody that was heading in the house was like, man, fuck that bitch and fuck her punk ass old man too. And I was like, who? Because at the time, my uncle was dating Brandy. And so, you know, he said my uncle's name, and like I got offended over that. And with me having a gun on me, you know, I didn't want to make a big deal out of that right then and there. But when Diablo did knock my mom out, like, that was like the final straw for me. And ultimately I did. I took Diablo's life. And like it like I said, it impacted a lot of people. Life does, when a life is taken, it does impact a lot of people. And it impacted my life in a huge way. Like I said, I did 13 and a half years out there in prison. And after that, there was another thing that I left out. So I had the girl that came and picked me up. She gave me a ride to her house initially. And but before we had left, my little brother that was there at the party, he came back home and said that my mom was stabbed. And like, I kind of lost it. Like, I was like, if my mom dies, like, more people are going to get hurt. Like, I was kind of at that point, like, I was being real reckless on my thinking. I didn't have a full thought process. Like, I wasn't thinking rational at all. I wasn't thinking rational. And what happened after that was I ended up calling 911, and I asked them, hey, look, my mom was stabbed. I know that she was life flighted. What hospital was she life flighted to? And at that point, they provided me the hospital that she was at. That's how I knew where to go to get to the hospital. Also, when I had left the hospital and went back to my house to go pick up my brothers, when I seen the unmarked cop car outside and I called my brother, I was like, hey, look, are the cops there? Are they looking for me? He was like, yep, they are. They're here. I was like, are they asking about me? He was like, yep, all I can say is don't come home. And that literally let me know that I couldn't go home. But what I left out is, so when I hopped the fence and I ran home, I was driving. I had this girl drive and stop at the fence, pretty much right by the fence where I had hopped. And this is probably like 4 hours later, 4 or 5 hours later, after I got done shooting Diablo. Sorry. And the cops still had these light posts up in the air so they can overwatch the crime scene, and they literally had a white sheet over Diablo's body. And that's something that I left out of the story that I couldn't forget. But ultimately, I was more concerned over trying to get my brothers out of that house so I could try to get my brothers to go see my mom in the hospital. And so I had my friend drop me off at another friend's house and to go try to get my brothers out of the house. Well, that was a bad mistake on my part. The cops would not let my friend leave the house after they showed up to pick up my brothers, and they grilled them for at least like a good hour to try to figure out where I was at and where I was hiding at. Ultimately, they did break down. They did tell the cops where they took me and where they dropped me off. But at that point, I was already concerned, like, I have a bad feeling about this, man. I need to get out of this place. Like, I ended up taking off, but sure enough, SWAT team ended up going over there looking for me. They had the whole place surrounded. I think they ended up kicking down that door too, to be honest with you guys. But I was long gone. Like, I took off from there. I ended up going to my father's house, and I hid out over there. Like, me and my dad wasn't really on good terms at the time, and a lot of people knew that. Like, a lot of people knew that me and my dad wasn't seeing eye to eye, and that basically, if anybody got questioned by the cops, like, my dad's name would probably be the last person people would spit out of their mouth. So that's where I went. And once I told my dad what happened, like, because he was real, my dad, he was real strict growing up. My dad was real strict on me. But man, I seen the life, like, kind of fade away from him after I told him that I killed somebody that night. Like, every ounce of anger that he held up to that point against me went away, and he was like, man, what'd you do? Like, are you serious? Like, are you sure he's gone? Like, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, like, he's gone, man. Like, I took his life. He's gone, dude. He's not coming back. And, you know, he's like, well, what do you want to do? Like, what can I do to help you? And he's like, you want me to work for 2 weeks and save up some money and go to Mexico? And I'm just thinking, like, man, like, is this really even happening to me right now? Like, is this actually a thought that I have to process? And I had to process all that. Also, how they found out that I was the shooter. So if you guys go back and watch my video, I had told this guy, Aaron, I had showed Aaron my firearm right before I headed over to Diablo's house. I showed him my gun. Aaron was the main witness to my case. Aaron had blood splattered on the back of his shirt, and I know for a fact like it wasn't Diablo's blood. It was probably his own blood or somebody else's, because my mom wasn't the only one that was stabbed. She wasn't the only one that was bleeding. Other people were getting beat up. Other people were getting stabbed. Brandy, she ended up getting stabbed in her arm. Like, it was a tragedy. That it was just chaos that night. But Aaron was the one that said that he saw me with the gun previous to the party, and he witnessed me shoot Diablo. So that was one thing that I left out of the story, that I should have told you guys about that. Also, so when I was hiding out at my dad's, I did watch the news, and on the news they said that I was armed and dangerous, that I was a threat to society. If they see me, basically call 911. Don't confront him. All that stuff. Like, he is a danger to society, and stay clear from me. And with hearing all this, like I said, at this point I got rid of the gun. Didn't even have it on me. I didn't want anything to do with it after that. Up to that point after I shot Diablo, like, I didn't want anything to do with it. The cops never found the gun. They never got the gun. But another thing that happened, so when I was staying at my dad's house, my dad was just trying to tell me, like, look, man, like, you can fight this and fight this case, like, because my dad's done prison time too, so he kind of like enlightened me on the justice system and like how I can go about fighting my case. And he was like, look, you can try to fight your case self-defense. Well, where I'm from, like, the self-defense laws are real strict. Like, it's kind of cut and dry. And self-defense of another person, that's which it would be, which my case would fall under. A lot of people would say like crime of passion, but crime of passion mainly is when you stumble upon somebody, like, so for instance, like, if a couple is in a relationship and one person is sleeping with somebody outside of the relationship, and let's say the husband comes home and catches the wife sleeping with somebody else, and he acts on that and happens to take that individual's life, that would be crime of passion. But if the guy came there and showed up and then decided to leave, the husband, if he saw what happened and then decided to leave and come back and then kill the guy, he would be charged with first-degree murder. So there was a lot of things that I did learn. Law was one of them, being incarcerated. But what I wanted to tell you guys and share with you guys, so I went and turned myself in to the county jail. And when I walked up to the desk and I was like, hey, look, I'm here to turn myself in, the desk clerk ran my name in the computer and was like, look, you don't got no warrants for your arrest. And I kind of looked at my dad like they ain't looking for me, you know, but they were looking for me. My dad he just like kind of gave me this look like, tell him, you know. And so I was like, nah, man, like, the cops are looking for me for a murder. And that guy, like, he literally did this number, like, you stay right there. You don't move. You don't go nowhere. Stay right there. And like, I'm just like, dude, like, I'm here to turn myself in, you know. But so he calls the cops. I'm waiting there. I literally waited there for like an hour for the cops to come. But there was this cop that showed up, just one cop. He walked up, like, he was real kind of rough with me, like, had me put my hands up against the wall, like, patted me down, and he put me in handcuffs, and he walks me down this ramp, and he puts me in the cop car, and he puts me in the front seat, and he gets into the driver's seat. And as we're driving, like, he looks over at me, and at this time, like, I had been using drugs. Like, I wasn't in the best spot in my life. Like, and what drugs I was using meth. I was using meth at the time. Real skinny. I was 123 pounds. But he looks at me and he was like, hey man, he was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm sorry for being physical with you. He's like, but when I got a call saying that I had to go pick up a murder suspect and arrest him and bring him to the precinct, he was like, man, my adrenaline was going out the roof. And when I got here and just realized that it's just this kid, like, and he was like, you know, he's like, hey man, can I ask you a personal question? And I was like, yeah, what's up? And he goes, did you do it? And I go, what would you have done if your mom was stabbed multiple times and brutally beaten? And he goes, yeah, I would have done the same thing. I would have done the same thing. And he took me to the precinct. You know, me and this guy, we had a conversation. To be honest with you, like, I had this conversation with this cop as if he was not a cop at all. And he told me that, you know, he had a friend that sold weed, and, you know, that was just his friend's way of trying to provide for his family, and that he understood that, and that he wasn't trying to bust anybody for that. Like, this dude really understood, like, kind of like how street life is, and, you know, what people do to try to be successful at living life. You know, life does get hard from time to time, and some people do cut corners, some people don't. Some people walk a straight, narrow line, and they're blindsided to some crazy things that actually really happen in this world. But yeah, in my discovery, so a discovery is basically like a police report for those that don't know. In the police report, that cop did not, me basically saying like, yo, what would you have done? What would you have done if your mom was being brutally stabbed or beaten? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you have done it? And me stating that's pretty much a confession right there. Not basically straightforward, but it is. And that conversation it wasn't existent in my discovery in the police report. He basically just said that he went there to pick me up and take me to the precinct to talk to detectives. After I went, and they took me into a room, and it was just small little room with a camera and tape recorder, and they sat me down. And before I even went to turn myself in, my dad just told me, like, look, just tell them that you want a lawyer. And so when the detective came in, that's exactly what I did. I said, look, I don't have any answers for you. I ain't answering any questions. I want a lawyer. And they didn't investigate me other than that. He like literally like slammed his book down, like as if like I was going to be scared and of him, you know, being pissed off for me not talking to him. Like, and he just stormed out the room, grabbed his tape recorder, and later on that day, they ended up transferring me to the county jail where I went to turn myself in, and they booked me in. But yeah, you know, it is difficult on what I had went through, and I just want you guys to know, like, my mom, she is doing good. There is going to be a day where, you know, I'll bring my mom in and basically ask her some questions on like how she's doing, how it affected her, so that way you guys can actually get a perspective, like her perspective on how this event has impacted her life. And moving forward, I want to say that you guys are going to experience a journey that I'm going to take you guys on, and that's going to be me going to prison and what prison has basically paved the way to where I'm at right now in life. And I'm going to share with you guys some graphic details on what I've seen in prison, what I've learned in prison. I've seen a lot of violent things in prison, and maybe at a young age, I was only 19, I literally had to become a man in prison, and I had to become a man real fast. And I remember the day that I walked into prison, and that feeling that I got, it was overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. To be real with you guys, I was scared. And even after doing what I did, like, I was scared. And if anybody says otherwise, that they weren't scared, they're bullshitting you. Hands down, they're bullshitting you. Because everybody is scared. Everybody's scared when they go to prison. And that's being real with you, that's facts. But yeah, huge shout out to everybody that has left me some feedback, left me some comments. And also, thank you guys for hitting the like button, man. You guys, this video, the last video has hit 1.8K views, and it's hit 73 likes up to this point. I ended up hitting 43 subscribers. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Salute to you guys, every single one of you guys. I hope that you guys are here to stay with me and come along this journey. And I'm going to be here, you know, sharing with you guys my life and the journey that it took me down, the road that it's took me down. And to be honest with you guys, I am humble. I am happy to be here to share with you guys what I've learned. And like I said, I hope I can get some more subscribers. If you guys are new viewing this, hit the subscribe button, because you guys are going to learn a lot. I'm going to share with you guys a lot, and we're going to do this together. Facts. So I have a saying. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. No, I'm just kidding. No, I have a saying. It's I'm pretty much going to end it here, but like I always say, man, I always say, until next time, may God be with you, and peace out for now.